So today I'm really excited to share with you a vegetarian Egg Foo Young. In fact, it doesn't have any egg at all, and we're going to be using a lot of these ingredients. It's actually a Korean vegetable patty, and it's inspired by a Egg Foo Young recipe. Okay, so here's what we're going to use. We're going to be using 2 cups of our red lentils, and I soaked these. So the way I soaked them was I took 1 cup of my red lentils that were dried, and then I put enough water in there to reach the 2-cup mark. And what happened was is it expanded to 2 cups. We're also going to be using some of our bean sprouts, and these are mung bean sprouts. These are some, it's about a cup of those. These are peas, snow peas, and I cut them and made them into little matchsticks. I used about 10 of those. I used about 1 carrot, and I did the same thing, made little julienne matchstick cuts. We'll be using 3 of our green onions, a half of a red onion, a tablespoon of our sesame seeds, a teaspoon of our garlic powder, a teaspoon of our onion powder, a teaspoon of our salt, and then a half a teaspoon of our chicken-like seasoning. And you can make one yourself. There's a lot of recipes on the internet that are plant-based, or you can use one like McKay's or Bob's Best or Bill's Best. We'll also be using a red bell pepper and a cup of water. So let's get started. Okay, so I want to have all of my little vegetables in this kind of cut right here. I want to match these. So I'm going to put this into a bowl, and I've already pre-cut a lot of them for me already. And our snow peas. This is going to give us a lot of nice texture and a lot of nice color contrast. Our carrots. I'm going to cut my red bell pepper. Now let me tell you about a red bell pepper. These are more vitamin C than a regular orange. Now it's interesting to note that if you have a bell pepper that has 3 or less little legs on the bottom, it's a male version of a bell pepper. It has less seeds and it's better for cooking. A female version has 4 or more and has more seeds and it's sweeter and it's actually better for raw dishes. So since we're cooking this, I'm going to use the male version of this bell pepper, but what's neat about it is the seeds in both of them can produce male or female. So that's a really cool tip. But you know, it doesn't matter. If you just pick a red bell pepper, it's still going to be good in this recipe. So you can see it barely has any seeds in this bell pepper, right? It's the male version and it's going to be less sweet, but it's going to be better for cooking. So I'm going to julienne cut these, and I usually just cut off the little legs here, cut off the top, and then I put into equal slices. To get really pretty cuts, I cut out that membrane, but that membrane is actually full of vitamin C, so save this. Put it in your soups, or if you want to juice it, or just eat it raw. So we're going to cut these little guys into a matchstick style of cut. Okay, so we're going to have our red onion now. We're going to cut this into slices as well. Peel off that skin. Sometimes that first layer gets a little complicated. So we're going to use about half of a red onion. Red onions are sweeter than yellow onions, and they're really great for raw dishes as well. But, you know, I like to fry them up. They're great in stir fries. They're great in like a Mexican style fajita mix. You know, so it's kind of fun to play with different styles of onion. You don't have to be limited to only having the yellow or the white. And plus, it just gives a really beautiful color to your dishes. Okay, there we go. Break these little guys up. Okay, so I think we're going to add a few of our onions, our green onions, to give us some nice color contrast and some flavor. I'm just going to cut these up into little circles. And you can actually use the whole green onion if you want. You don't have to just be only the top or the white part. Okay, so throw those in there. So there we go. This is our base for our vegetable patty. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and get started with our batter. We're going to go ahead and pour in our 2 cups of our soaked lentils. Okay. We're going to go ahead and add our teaspoon of our salt. teaspoon of our onion powder and garlic powder. Okay, and a tablespoon of our sesame seeds. And then a half a teaspoon of our chicken-like seasoning. And we'll add our water. Blend this all up. Okay, and incidentally, lentils are very alkalizing. I love working with red lentils. They're high in protein. It's a great nut, a great legume, by the way. And it binds really well in this recipe. So we're now gonna go ahead and pour this over our vegetables. Now let's say you wanted this to look more yellow. It'll turn more yellow as we cook them up, but you can just add a pinch of turmeric and that will do the same thing. So now we're just gonna get this all nice and coated. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking like, how in the world is this gonna turn into a patty? Well, I'm gonna show you. We're gonna take this back to our burner and fry them up and we'll be all set. Okay, so we're on part 2 of making our Egg Foo Young patties. And now I have my oven on about a medium-high heat. If you have a non-stick spray pan, that's the best without having to use any oil. And we're gonna go ahead and make our little Egg Foo Young patties. And I have my pan already heated up here. You don't wanna go crazy with these. Just, maybe a cup to a half a cup patty. Actually, half a cup to a quarter of a cup would be better. Okay, we're just gonna press these down a little bit. I'm cooking. I'm actually gonna turn mine down a little bit here. All right, so here we have our veggie Egg Foo Young patties. And if you don't have a nonstick pan, it's okay, just use a stainless steel pan. Add a little bit of your vegetable oil for minimal oil, and you have a very high protein, low calorie, beautiful Egg Foo Young vegetable patty.